write down the word recognize. And I want to give you the definition of what it means to recognize something, okay? To recognize something literally means that you formally acknowledge. Okay? That's recognition. Like, I'm going to formally acknowledge, and then you fill in the blank from there. And so everything I want to talk to you about today is about that word, okay? Because here's the deal. I can't take responsibility for something if I don't first recognize what needs to be taken responsibility of. You guys with me on this? So you've heard me say a lot, and write this down, that awareness is transformational, okay? I can't do anything about anything if I don't first get aware of what needs to be changed. And that's recognition. That's recognizing, okay? It means that I'm going to formally acknowledge, hey, this part of my life, or this part of my relationship, or this part of my own self needs adjustment, okay? So I want to talk to us today about what is it in your life, in your business, in the way that you think, in the way that you act, that you need to recognize, okay, so that we can make adjustments that need to be made, or we can do what needs to be done in order to be successful and hit the goals that you want, okay? So a huge piece of this is recognition. So just a few things for you to write down as we get started is this. Before you can take responsibility, you have to recognize, okay? Before I can take responsibility, I have to recognize. So is there something today that you need to recognize you need to take responsibility for? Are you with me? The next is, before you can change a pattern, guess what? You have to recognize the pattern, okay? We talked about patterns last week, right? Okay. And so all of us on this call have patterns, and we need to be able to recognize those patterns. Now, some patterns are good. Keep those going. Other patterns don't go so well for us. How many of you on the call know you got some patterns that haven't gone well for you? And you can pinpoint them in your life, right? Like, I'll be completely transparent for you. I have historically self-destructed about every 5 years in some way, shape, or form. Okay? And I don't like it. So I got to recognize the pattern, and then take a look at, okay, how do I adjust that? How do I change that pattern? Okay. Before you grow, you have to recognize where you need to grow, correct? Like, where those parts of your life or your business, okay, or your consistency, right? Where is it that I need to grow? And then I'll also tell you this: before you rest, you have to recognize that you're running on empty. Okay, you have to recognize that you're running on empty. So I want to have a call with us today about that. You can't change what you haven't recognized, okay? You can't change what you haven't recognized. So here's what I think is the biggest challenge that you and I have to recognition. And you can tell me if I'm wrong, but I think I'm right, okay? But maybe I need to recognize I'm wrong. I don't know. But I think I'm right, okay? I think the biggest challenge we have in recognition is you and I are moving so dadgum fast we don't stop to recognize anything. Yes or no? Okay. How many of you get up in the morning, you feel behind, and you haven't even started yet? Okay. So then we just start moving. And a lot of us, we just start reacting. We start reacting to everything that's going on around us. And so in the middle of that, we feel really busy, but we haven't actually gone where we want to go. You tracking with me on this? Okay. And so in our busyness, we get busy with appointments, right? If you've got kids, you like living busy. Okay. Like, Mom and I laid down the other night, and I was like, it doesn't ever stop, does it? Okay. Like, let me tell you about our morning so far. So far this morning, our dog decided to get up on the table and eat all of my son's apples. That's our morning. Okay. That's what's happening over here at the Oglesby house. Brother recognized he was hungry, got him some apples, Mario. But I'm just saying, like, this is constantly happening in our home. Anybody else? You just got constant moving parts. Okay. In the middle of this, you have clients. Okay. In the middle of this, not only do you have clients, sometimes you have unhappy clients. Hello. That causes a whole nother level of anxiety. Okay. We've got emails, text messages, social media. We're constantly moving, and we actually live in a world that says you need to move faster. Yes or no? Like like our culture glorifies more, 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 faster, faster, faster. And I'm telling you today, I want you to stop and recognize and not get caught up in that. Okay. Because when we get so busy and we get in the flow of all the things, what happens is we stop noticing. Okay. And I'll tell you, I think sometimes the greatest um, obstacle to our growth is the fact that we're just too busy. Would you agree with that? And I'm not just talking in your business, like I'm talking in your life too. Okay. Mom and I having conversations right now. We've got two 13-year-olds that are doing a lot of stuff and they want to do a lot more stuff. And we're having conversations with them of, hey, we've got to get real clear and slow down and pause and recognize what we actually need to be doing instead of doing everything. Okay. I'll also tell you in the real estate business, um, title business, you name it, I think business period, it will take every single thing you've got if you allow it. Right? It'll take all your mind share. It'll take everything that's like it'll take every single bit of it. Okay. Keith, you got something, buddy?
Yeah, one of my coaches about 8 years ago, we recognized I had a commitment issue. It was that I was saying yes to everything. So like
Yeah.
I actually always have time for the important things now because I just from that moment on, I really just started saying no to more and more and making sure that I didn't spend more than 15 minutes in a day on things that I wouldn't be known for in 5 years. Like that same coach in like a podcast, he said, just don't spend more than 15 minutes in one day on anything that you won't be known for or you don't desire to be known for in five
Yeah.
years. And I always bounce things off that, and it helps me say no to so many more things.
Keith, that's a great word right there. Everybody write that down. How many of you are yes people? I'm a yes guy. Hey, Dusty, can you do this? You bet. You bet. And the whole time I'm thinking, no, I have no idea where I'm going to put that at. Right. And then I say yes anyway. So we get caught up in this pleasing piece. Here's the next thing I want you to write down: recognition, recognizing brings clarity. Okay. It brings clarity. So I want you to ask yourself some questions today. Have you recognized that you are too busy? That's part of what Keith recognized, right? He realized by the help of a coach, hey, like I'm saying yes to everything and it's creating more chaos in my life. So what do I need to do? I need to recognize the pattern, the behavior, and I need to get clarity around it. And then I need to get clarity around what do I really want? And is this in alignment with it? I'll tell you two questions I ask myself now to make sure that I know what I'm saying yes to and no to is this in alignment with my full purpose? Is what I'm saying yes to in alignment with my full purpose? Okay. And if it's not, it doesn't mean that I don't care. It just means my answer is probably going to be no. Okay. I've got to look at the big picture and ask myself, is this in alignment with my calling, with my purpose, with where I desire to be a year from now, 5 years from now? Like, does this fall in alignment from that? Okay. So have you recognized where you're drifting? Okay. I have a coaching client. The first question I ask him every week that he has asked me to ask him is, did you drift this week? First question he asked me to ask him, did you drift this week? Where did you drift? Why did you drift? So I think we need to recognize where we're drifting. How about, are you recognizing where you're inconsistent? Can I tell you right now, all of you, your entire world can look completely different in the next 90 days if you just get consistent. Like pick the areas you know you were inconsistent and begin to work on that and get consistent. It's clarity around this is huge. Okay. How about the relationships in your life? Are you recognizing what needs attention? You with me? Can we get personal here for a minute? Okay. Inside the four walls of your home are the most important relationships that you have. Are you recognizing? Tracking with me on this? Okay. Um, how about your own health? Are you recognizing where your health is? Okay. Here's one thing I know. Anybody on the call ever been sick before? How'd you operate when you were sick? Not very well. Okay. Like we need to recognize we got to take care of ourselves. You with me? Like a lot of you busy taking care of everybody else. And we've got to recognize you got to take care of you. Because if you don't take care of you, you won't be here to take care of everyone else. Okay. Some of you today need to recognize how far you've actually come. Okay. I think some of us are so caught up on where we're going and hitting the goal. I think some of you need to stop today and go, hey, I'm going to take a look at where I came from. You with me? Like, look at what you've battled through. Look at how much you've grown. Like, give yourself credit for that. Okay. Multiple calls I had last week was helping people realize and recognize how far they've actually come. Okay. You with me? And you've heard me coach on this before. And I will stand on it. You also need to recognize when you require a pause. Okay. The one thing you and I don't do well is we don't pause. We don't stop. Okay. I think you've heard me tell you this story. I think we roll through the stop sign. Okay. We don't actually stop. All right. And in order to recognize something, you need to actually stop. All right. You can't recognize things when you're in a full on sprint. All right. I want you to think about when you're driving. At least I trust that you do this. Okay. When you're driving, do you just look straight out the window, like just straight out the front window, or do you actually move your eyes around a little bit and look at the mirrors? You do, right? Please say you do. Okay. If you don't, you should. There's your coaching for today, right? I'm looking at my rear view mirror. I'm looking at my side mirrors. I'm making sure of everything that's around me. All right. And I think a lot of us in our business and life right now, you just look like you're just locked in like this rather than recognizing maybe some warning signs around you. Okay. Um, Here's what I think all of us need this week. Let me tell you what I think we don't need this week. I don't think necessarily you need another Zoom call or another webinar or another script or another lead opportunity. Or I think what all of us need is 30 minutes where you cut everything off and you just recognize. So my challenge to you this week is that I want you to put on your calendar 30 minutes, okay, where you sit alone, quiet, no phone, okay, no phone, like turn it off, put it somewhere where you're not going to be. And I just want to calm you. Everything's going to be fine, okay? Like, don't panic. Everything is going to be fine for 30 minutes, all right? And I want you to literally take 30 minutes, no phone, no distractions, just you. And I want you to go deep on where you need to recognize. Okay. I want you to go deep first into your life and into your own heart. Okay. Here's what I'll tell you. You cannot hear what you need to hear in your own heart when there's so much noise and so much business. You just can't hear it. Okay. And if you don't intentionally take time to pause and recognize, I think this is the reason why we end up burning out. Anybody ever burned out before? Anybody feel like maybe they're burning out right now? Okay. Make sure you take the time, 30 minutes, and just get really, really real with yourself. Let me tell you what else recognizing does. Recognizing leads to realignment. Okay. Where do you need to realign? Okay. Where do you need to realign? I'm the first one to tell you so you and I don't get out of alignment like overnight. You with me on this? Like, it's not like I was in alignment today and then tomorrow morning I woke up and I'm not in alignment. Misalignment happens little by little over time until all of a sudden you wake up one morning and you're like, man, I am nowhere where I want to be or where I thought I would be. Okay. You may have heard me tell you this illustration before, but there's a thing called the 1 in 60 rule when it comes to aviation, and that means that if the nose of an airplane is off 1 degree, 1 degree, okay, that it will literally end up 60 miles off where it needs to be if it continues flying that way. So if I leave Los Angeles and I'm going to fly to Rome, Italy, and the nose of my plane is off 1 degree, I'm not landing in Rome, Italy. You guys with me on this? So I think a lot of us where we are is the nose of our plane has been off, and it's been off for a long time. And we thought it's not a big deal until it is a big deal. You guys with me on this? So we've got to be able to recognize, and we've got to be able to hit the realignment button. Okay? We got to hit the realignment button. So I want to give you a few questions I want you to think about this week. Here's the first one. What have I been unwilling to recognize? How many of you know there's some stuff there and you don't want to recognize it? Anybody? Right? Like you, come on now. I love you. You know. It's part of why you stay so busy because you don't like, I don't want to go into that arena. Okay. Some of you got anxiety when I said, don't do anything for 30 minutes and just focus on recognizing. Some of you are like, I can't do that. I'm too busy. Some of you thought, I don't want to recognize the truth of what's in front of me. So that's the first question. What have I been unwilling to recognize? The next is, where have I just been too busy to notice? Where have I just been so busy that I don't even notice or recognize where I'm at? Okay. Here's my third question. What has quietly drifted that needs your attention today? Like, it hasn't been loud, right? It wasn't like this big moment. It just quietly, things have drifted. You with me? Can I tell you that quiet drift at some point is going to scream at you? I don't know when, but I'm telling you from experience, that quiet drift at some point is going to scream. It's not going to be quiet anymore. So where have you quietly drifted and you need some attention? All right. The next question is this. Where do you need to celebrate? Like, where do you need to recognize you've done some really good stuff? That you should be really proud of you for what you've accomplished. Hey, if you're waiting for other people to tell you they're proud of you, it doesn't work that way. Okay? Like, you have to know inside of you how you've shown up and how you've played the game. And you have to get a good understanding, and you gotta be able to celebrate. Okay? We do a great job of beating ourselves up. Anybody beat yourself up well? Anybody? Got a PhD in beating yourself up? I got that one. Okay. How about we work on getting a PhD of actually celebrating where we win? Okay. And then I want you to ask one final question, and that's this. What's one thing you need to recognize and adjust that could literally change the next 6 months for you? What's one thing today that you need to recognize and adjust that could literally change the next 6 months for you? All right. Because here's what I know. Our life and our business changes the moment we stop long enough to see it clearly. That's when change actually happens. Okay. When I stop long enough to be able to actually see clear. All right. I think part of it right now is we just haven't stopped long enough. Okay. I would ask you to do the 30 minutes every day this week. Okay. Can I tell you from a loving place, you are not too busy to do that. You're just not. Okay. I know you're busy. Okay. I get it. I know. But you are not too busy to sit alone for 30 minutes and get clarity around your heart, around your mind, around your business, around your people. Okay. Like we got to stop long enough to actually do it. Okay. You with me? Does this help? Does this help today? Okay. I want you to recognize, and be able to make the adjustments that come along with it. All right. Any thoughts before we jump off today? Something you're taking away with you. Keith, what do you got, buddy?
So I have a hard time recognizing or celebrating successes. And one thing I learned this year was that there's two people to impress, like not your mom, not your wife. It's your 8-year-old version of yourself. Like, who were you when you were 8? Because that person had no judgment around it. They just wanted to have fun. And then the other person is your 80-year-old self, because then you have that legacy component. Because when you're 80, you're only thinking about those final legacy moments. So if things that you're doing right now don't always feel good, comfortable, like, when you're on the cusp of winning and you're pushing and you're fighting it today. But if you can reflect on a day and say, wow, my 8-year-old self would have been on fire today, or my 80-year-old self would be so proud of the way I consulted that person, whatever it is, it's a cool way to kind of create a proper framework of what we're really trying to do here, which is, not trying to live in judgment or judge others. It's just making ourselves proud, our
That's
younger
right.
versions and our older versions. So just want to share.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is, Tigo, thanks for the addition. I threw your image in Chat GPT. I have a Las Vegas version that it's working on. I took your comment and I'm reframing it. And within 30 minutes, I'm going to post a Las Vegas zip code map with a comment, and we'll see. I'm not anticipating your type of results. Those were amazing, by the way, but thanks for being my new referral partner in the areas that you serve.
Well,
and
and
great job for sharing, because within 30 minutes, I was able to do all that. So, and
I
still
love it.
get the, what you're trying to throw down to us.
well,
So
and
I
I
really
borrowed that
appreciate your.
from the guys at Resi Club that publish great market stats.
Yeah. Hey, rip off
I
and
love it.
duplicate. I know where you came from.
That's
I
Absolutely.
looked
right.
at your
That's right.
history. Your history is a lot like mine. I know where you came from, and so, but
I
thank
love
you
it.
for sharing, guys. It
Well
was a great
said,
call.
Keith. Hey, yeah, go make your 8-year-old self proud today. I like that. And make your 80-year-old self proud today. Okay. Take 30 minutes. I want your commitment this week. Take 30 minutes. You have it. You just need to make space for it. All right. It may need to be early in the morning before anyone wakes up. Okay. Before the day even gets started. I will tell you, if you'll do this every day before everyone wakes up, things will go well for you. Okay. All right, guys. Hey, I love you. Bless you. We'll see you again next week. Take care. Bye bye.